Well, hi, I'm Chicken Johnny, and you're out in the garden with Chicken Johnny. We're going to take a little garden tour today, but the first thing we're going to do is talk a little bit about trellises. Where you should use them, what kind you should use, why you should use them, and where's the best place to get trellises. The main crops that I like to grow on trellises are tomatoes, but I also like to grow beans and peas and cucumbers. If you want to grow your squashes or your bigger melons on trellises, that'll work, but you need to have some way to support the fruit as well as the vines themselves. We don't put any of our squashes or any of our melons on trellis. We might in the future, but that hasn't been something that we've desired to do now. Let's go take a look over at our tomatoes. So this is another type of trellis. It uses this hook up here that connects to that cable, and then it drops down to where we've connected it to the plant itself with these little hooks. Now eventually that tomato is going to wrap itself around this line coming up. So we never should have to have more than just the two hooks. We got a bunch of weeds in here that we've got to get rid of. But there's our tomatoes. Here's another tomato, and we've even got a couple little tomatoes on there. I don't know if you can see them. Right back in here. Right back in there. There's another one. It's kind of a larger one. These are home-style tomatoes, and we got a bunch down there, a bunch over here. And as these grew up, see how I put this pin, it was kind of at the top when we started, and now we're all the way up here. I'm going to put another pin in there. I need to get in here and train these up a little bit better, get them wound on there, get the connectors moved up. But that's our tomatoes. Lots of growth since we moved these up. And look at all of the fruit right in there. Look at all of those tomatoes. Got some tomatoes on that one, tomatoes on that one. So these are all getting tomatoes on them, and it's kind of even a little bit early for the tomatoes to be on the plants. Now, this is another kind of trellis we use. Here's my sunglasses. These are tomato cages, and they're a type of trellis. We made these, or actually I got these were given to me, but they were homemade using concrete reinforcing wire. And this is just asparagus. We're using these to hold the asparagus up, so when they drop their seeds, you see all the little seeds in there? When they drop those seeds, we want them to drop kind of right in that section so that all of the asparagus stays in this row and it gets kind of filled up. Here's another trellis that we use. These trellises here are made out of cattle panels. This is actually a hog panel that I had, and it's 3 feet. And then we've got some cattle panels. Those are 4 or even 5 feet. And this is our blackberries growing up on that trellis. And we need to train the blackberries into the trellis a little bit better, because if we don't train them, who will? And they'll be all unruly. Our aroma tomatoes, and they're lagging behind. We didn't get them planted when we should have. And this is when we should get through and get all these weeds out of here. So tomorrow, before I do anything else, I'm going to see if I can get that done. And these are home-style tomatoes, and they're growing right up. Just yesterday, that connector was at the highest end of that tomato. So we want to prune out some of these tomatoes. You got to do this at least every other day, or they'll get too big. So I'll come through and prune those out. But there you go. And they're going to drag down a little bit on this wire, and we may have to do a little bit more reinforcing. There's some more of them over there. So those are the 4 different types of trellises that we use in our garden. Cattle panels are available from Tractor Supply or Fleet Farm or Farm and Fleet. Big K probably has them. I don't know what you have by you, but you should be able to get cattle panels. I like to use cattle panels where it's going to be a perennial crop, because then I don't have to worry about replacing them or taking them down or setting them up. And so with the blackberries, all we have to do is cut off the old canes, and then it's ready to go for next year. Well, actually, we'll cut those canes off in the spring. But I like to use these plastic trellises, and I think those ropes, we've never done that before, but I think those ropes are going to work out really nicely. The drop lines. In fact, I think I'll do all my indeterminate tomatoes on those lines next year. These home styles are indeterminate tomatoes, and they're just going to have to work their way up. We'll get them to about 4 feet, and then that'll be about it for them. They'll start climbing around and make a mess. But our season really is short enough that we're probably not going to. We'll get 4 feet, we'll get 6 feet of tomatoes, but they'll flop over, they'll be okay. With the ropes, we can lower them and lean them and get some extra space that way. So we'll show you how we do that when the time comes. But until then, Mitzvah Shem, I'll see you again. I'm Chicken Johnny. You're in the garden looking at trellises with Chicken Johnny. Stay with us here. I'm going to take us through a musical tour of the rest of the garden. So I've given you the little tip up front with the trellis, and then go enjoy the garden. If you haven't subscribed yet to our channel, hit subscribe down below. We've got a bunch of things planned for the near future, a bunch of different videos, and one of them is going to be a series on weeding and how we weed, and it's a little bit different than most market gardeners that you see on YouTube. We're a small farm with a big farm philosophy, hoping to obtain some more land and grow our farm. Stay tuned over the next many weeks, probably 7-8 weeks, as we tour the garden and show you our progress, show you our setbacks. We're really getting to the time now where the weeds are going to be a battle for us, because we've only got maybe 1 more, maybe 2 more trips that we can make with power equipment, and then we're going to have to start doing a lot of our weeding with hand and hoe. So enjoy the tour.